We've been following the controversy surrounding the Confederate memorial outside the Madison County Courthouse for weeks now. And today another demonstration took place calling for its removal. Only this time protesters were a little younger. Our Sydney Stallworth was there. She tells us more.
After weeks, the fight to move this Confederate monument from in front of Madison County Courthouse continues, and today Huntsville's youth stepped up to have their voices heard, and local groups are standing right behind them.
You need to register and vote.
A youth rally led by the Rosa Parks Committee brought equal justice groups from across the valley together to encourage our young people to speak out as they demand the Confederate monument be relocated.
I loved the fact that in this particular case it was the young people that led this effort, and I think that if we're going to have this kind of social change, young people are going to have to be among the largest groups pushing for it.
Oh, it's so significant, particularly for our youth, and if we think about all social movements that have happened within the context of the United States, youth have been at the central of that.
Participants stood in solidarity and marched from Big Spring Park to the Madison County Courthouse. Local activists say they feel actions are being stalled and the monument needs to move.
Having a monument like this here in Huntsville says a lot about the work that we need to do.
Some say this is the perfect way to show the next generation how to foster change and make a difference in the polls.
And it's opportunities like this that will galvanize our voting, our public policy participation, and hopefully running for public office.
Demonstrators observed an 8-minute and 46-second long moment of silence in honor of George Floyd.
Kneeling for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. It feels powerful. It makes you realize.
Organizers tell me demonstrations like this one will continue to happen until they see action and this monument is removed. Putting the Valley first, Sydney Stallworth, WZDX News.